Hello fellow brick builders, welcome back to my channel Brickbuilt Replicas, and this is another life-size LEGO gaming creation, and I believe this is my best one to date. This is the AK-47 fuel injector from Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Now I have built an AK-47 in the past if you want to check that out, but this is an upgraded version with a very nice polished yellow skin from Counter-Strike. It would mean a lot to me if you guys do enjoy this video to leave a like on the video, as well as some comments if you have suggestions, and subscriptions if you're new to the channel as well to see more Brickbuilt replicas. Now the reason I chose to rebuild an AK-47 is that I could add more functions than I did previously and improve on the old ones, including a working magazine release, trigger, fire selector / safety, as well as a charging handle that can be pulled back and released with the help of a rubber band. On the top, it also features adjustable iron sights attached by a hinge for range selection, and you can also add a magazine. All of these functions combined with the looks and stability overall of the gun are what I think make this build the best one I've done to date. And for those of you that haven't played Counter-Strike Global Offensive, the fuel injector is a skin that you can apply to the AK-47 in-game. It has a very nice yellow polished industrial look, and I think it was going to be a really fun challenge to recreate in LEGO with all those industrial details on the side. Now this build did pose a significant challenge to me just because I didn't have that many yellow pieces already in my collection, so I did have to buy quite a few off Bricklink, but I did think it suited the build very well overall. Now to take a look at some of the closer details, this is the magazine of the AK-47. This is what I believe is the best part hands down, just because of how detailed it is. I mean, I believe this is probably one of the most detailed LEGO magazines on the internet to date yet, and it was made using a technique given to me by Nick Brick where it has rubber bands on the inside that are able to actually hold the entire thing together and give it a nice angle. It's also polished on the side with a bunch of chrome pieces such as gears, and you can see the bullet on the top that was made with some chrome gold cylinders and some extra pearl gold details on the top. Now the problem with this is a lot of the Counter-Strike details don't give you extra analysis of the magazines and such because it's reloaded so quickly, but the sides were covered up with some nice ingot pieces as well as tiles to hide the rubber band that you can see on the inside, holding the magazine all together. There's also a notch on the top of the magazine, and this is made specifically so that it can rock into the AK. The handguard also has some details, including some sideways building for sticker tiles, and it's also very comfortable to hold overall with its nice roundedness on the bottom. The top features some ingots and rounded tiles as well, and the rest of the build has some degree of stickers and details, but the one thing is, I had originally plastered the entire build with stickers, which I got some comments that it wasn't appropriate overall and didn't really look as accurate to the in-game model. So I decided to take a couple of those off on reflection, and I think it was a good decision because it looks a lot nicer and more like LEGO overall rather than simply cheating with stickers. Here's a look at the handguard, and it is sturdy enough to actually hold the entire gun up. That's one thing that I do like about this build is its sturdiness, because you can pretty much hold the AK from any position and it won't break. The barrel was made with a couple of curved tiles as well, and some cylinders that are made in light gray to give it that nice effect, as well as a hinge on the front near the iron sight. But this is the coolest thing I think I've ever done on a LEGO weapon for the iron sights, is the front sight was actually made using a sonic screwdriver piece, which is from the LEGO Doctor Who set. And I think it's really kind of interesting and funny as well, because you wouldn't normally see that in a LEGO gun build, nonetheless as an iron sight. But it does give it a very nice look, and it's very nice to look down the sights and see that green dot that's on the top. Here's a look at the side as well with some extra details. It has some very nice tiling to it, and these are actually not 1x1 silver tiles that you would normally expect, but these are extra ones that have that metallic look to it, which I think look a lot better as screws, and I'm planning to use a lot on some of my future builds. There's also a Brickbuilt AK-47 logo on the side made using gold grill tiles. It doesn't look as accurate as I would want it to be, but it is very tough to make that compact look of the AK-47 logo that you can see on the side of the build. I think I tried to replicate it to my best with the pieces that I had. Here's an extra look at some of the chrome details on the side, as well as the magazine release, which can actually function using a rubber band around it, which I can do a tutorial for if you guys would like to see. And the rubber band is also conserved by being connected to the trigger, of all things, so you only have to use one rubber band for the entire mechanism. So you can have it all connected separately, and the trigger also works with that same rubber band, but it's a lot easier and more compact to do rather than compromising the internal structure. Now for me, one challenge that discourages me when I'm building guns is always the grip, and this one was no exception because I had to figure out a way to hold up all the weight of this gun, as the magazine is about 2 pounds on its own. So I wanted the grip to actually feature studs going in all directions just to make it extra smooth, and it had some Technic on the inside, a first for me, with some rubber bands around the outside to keep it sturdy. The top of the dust cover was also made with a couple of hinges and ingots on the top, and it also can be removed to access some of the internals of the AK if you're wanting to build this thing. Here's a closer look at the bolt or the charging handle, and you can actually see that it slides back and forwards using a rubber band, but it's also held in by a piece on the top. The rubber band was also put around the sides for some extra tension so that the rubber band didn't break loose, and it's also very sturdy on the inside as well. It's one of the most satisfying things, in my opinion, to actually keep pulling the charging handle back and forwards. And the back sight, or the rear sight, was also made using some hinges, and it has an ingot and hinges on the top so that you can look down the sights. Here's also a look down, and it has a very nice and accurate look to the in-game model, even though you can't actually look down the sights in Counter-Strike. The other side of the weapon does feature that charging handle, and the problem with this is there is some friction that it creates if you push down too much, so if you do loosen up some of the pieces, it does slide back and forth very nicely. And here's also a closer look at the fire selector, which also doubles as a safety. If you pull it to the up position, that means it is actually blocking the charging handle from going back, and here you can see that in action if you tilt it up. But also it does keep it in a fire mode, whether it's full auto or semi-auto. And there's also some details on the side, including some tiling that was similar to the AK-47, where I did build it sideways using some tiles just because I wanted that extra striping detail. There's also some other stickers and mild degree of details, but here's some in-progress shots of the AK-47 if you want to reference something like this for a future build. It shows you just how something like this comes together, and pretty much anyone can do this. I've been building LEGO for about 2 years now, and I believe anybody, if they want to reach this level, can do it. And here's some in-depth pictures showing you just how I did that. So thank you guys so much for all the recent support on all my videos. I know since the last video I've pretty much gained around 3,000 subscribers, just because of that grand video as well. I know some of you have been requesting Counter-Strike builds, and I haven't gotten to it as of late, but I wanted to come back with something that would be my magnum opus, and I believe this is my best build that I've ever pretty much done in my life. And I really do like how all the features come together to create a very nice and polished build, and how it runs it off very nicely to add to my Counter-Strike arsenal. If you do want to see other Counter-Strike videos, go ahead and click on the end card to go to the playlist, as well as watch some of them in the description below. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching all my videos. I appreciate all the support from every one of you. And as always, have a fantastic day, and I will see you guys in another video once I finish another Brickbuilt replica.